Hey guys, with Heidel Ball coming in 2 days, I wanted to make this video that talks about things that I want for Heidel Ball and the future of Black Desert Online. We'll talk about both the current shortcomings of BDO and what new things can help it in the future. This video isn't gonna talk too much about the small things like how they change node wars or the hit rate and evasion changes, but we'll focus more on what direction I believe BDO is going. I do talk more in depth about the new node war changes in another video, so you can check out that video if you're more interested in that. The most interesting thing about this upcoming Heidel Ball is that they have pushed a ton of gameplay and quality of life changes right before the ball. We got the new node war changes a couple of weeks ago that completely revamps how node wars work, changing it to become more of an arcade style game mode. We also got huge quality of life changes and life skilling, combining all life skill levels and most gear to become family-wide. We also got a ton in terms of gear with deboreka rings and Agris enhancing pity system. Finally, this week we got a complete revamp of hits and how evasion works. Now, many people may say that it's because they just wanted to push the promises they made during Calpheon Ball in December, just getting the updates out before they make a new roadmap for Heidel Ball. But I believe it can be because of another reason. I think PA really wants to finish revamping their new systems to create a new big gameplay shift that changes how people play the game. We aren't talking about just a new region or new grind zones, but a complete shift in the goals of BDO and how players achieve them. Now, of course, this can be just a complete dream on my end, but this does get into what I want for Heidel Ball and the future of BDO. Currently, I think the biggest thing that BDO lacks is a new form of progressive grind and community-centered progression, especially for newer players. In this section, we'll talk about those two issues, and after, we'll talk about the solutions. What I mean by progressive grind is that BDO has basically come to an end with the current progression path. What players have been grinding for currently is the full deboreka accessory wheel, which has completely been released. PA kind of rushed the rings by making them drop from already existing spots and not centered around a new region or new grind zone. Because of this, most endgame players are already pushing the end of the deboreka grind, and I believe in a few months, a lot of endgame players will be basically done. Even if they aren't nearing the end of the debo grind, the deboreka grind is honestly one of the worst grinds in the game, especially when hammers go away. Downgrading deborekas and being forced into certain grind zones just plainly sucks. Because of this, most endgame players are either done with the debo grind or just aren't willing to push to pen. PA made Tet Fallen God basically hardcap by making Pen Fallen God practically unobtainable, and Pen Blackstar or C20 boss weapons have been the hardcap for weapons for a long time. Because of this, PA really needs to add another grind into the game, and we aren't necessarily talking about another accessory, armor, or weapon, but rather something that even newer players can work on at the same rate as endgame players. If PA releases Kafras for Pen Debo or Pen Blackstar weapons, most players probably aren't even at that point, and it would be completely meaningless content, and it'll just increase the gap between early and endgame players. Before we get into the solution and what I want for the future, we have to talk about the second issue, which is the lack of community-centered progression. And I'm not really just talking about a 2-man or 3-man grind zone, but rather there's no point in playing the game at a specific time or a specific place that would foster both group content and group interaction. There is no reason to play BDO this month or the next month since there's no time-limited thing that can make me ask some of my friends to start playing BDO. The only thing they have remotely close to it is the free items given out during balls, but that's not really going to be meaningful for a player who has never played the game before. That also doesn't foster playing the game, rather just logging in and using a code. In terms of group interaction, outside of Node Wars, Guild League, and maybe guild bosses, there's really no interaction with other players that's based around your progression. The only thing I can think about is AFK fishing with other players, which I do consider to be a nice thing. Even standing together in a new zone or passing by other players is still a nice thing, and I consider that to be sort of a group content. PA really has to make some reason to be at the same place and to work together to get progression in BDO. I'm also not talking about grinding over each other since that makes players go against each other instead of helping each other out. To fix the issue of there being both an end to sight in gear progression and there not being much of a reason to play with different people, I think PA should release what seasons should have been in BDO. 3 years ago, when seasons came out, what we thought seasons would be was some sort of refresh that allows you to get some slight advantage if you are higher gear, but most of your progression is going to be through season-specific items. A lot of games like Destiny 2 or Epic 7 allows you to still retain most of your gear, but most of your power is based on some sort of season totem or season level. There is still reason to progress your main gear between seasons, but during seasons, most of your power is by progressing season-only gear or levels. This is what we thought BDO seasons was going to be 3 years ago, but it became more of a way to level characters fast and get some alternative gear. If we have a new seasons that adds new mechanics and grinds, this allows people to have a new grind and for both endgame and new players to be in the same area to start their season grind. Of course, PA has to make some way to have players work together instead of just grinding over each other, but that's pretty easy to do, like making private zones or dungeons with parties that help each other. BDO already has Blood Altar, which is a wave-based PvE game mode that has a party work together to beat. There are already many games with many solutions that allow players to work together to progress gear, rather than fight over each other to do so. PA can really just use any other game as a template. The biggest thing is just to make some reason to start together with a friend at this point in maturity of the game. It is pretty hard to convince a friend to start playing BDO when I basically won't be able to do any meaningful group content with them for a couple of months at least. The only thing I can do is basically power level them, but there is no meaningful group grind even if I'm willing to sacrifice silver per hour. If PA isn't willing to add some sort of seasons where players start and play together, then that's still fine. The alternative is just by adding some sort of totem that I can level infinitely with a new drop that drops everywhere and add some sort of base stat. This solution isn't great, but at least it's something that continues the progression grind. I really do want some sort of seasons though. Destiny 2 does it really well, making it meaningful to do seasons and play even when a season isn't running. On the other hand, a Path of Exile style of seasons is a bit less fun, with there being basically no permanent progression, and it being a lot less fun to play when it's a bad season or there isn't a season running. I really don't think temporary progression is that meaningful in BDO. That being said, of course I love PoE, but I don't think that kind of season system can work in BDO. In conclusion though, I really do hope that PA adds something interesting that gets players wanting to play the game at a specific time frame. For endgame players, there really is a lot less excitement and fast progression goals that is really meaningful left in the game. There also is not really a point in getting gear unless you can do it by working together with other players and showing off your progression by being able to contribute more. Open world and uncapped PvP is nice, but it's not something I can participate in with new players. Overall though, this is just a simple video in what I want them to announce in the Heidel Ball or even in the future, but there is really no way to know what's going to happen until it does. I really do hope that it's something at least interesting and changes how we approach progression in BDO. Anyways, I hope this video was at least interesting and I hope to see you all next time.